AI is everywhere, right? AI is everywhere. It's sometimes in places where it's really obvious that something is AI. Maybe it's a graphic that was made. Welcome back from Peru, Brian. Maybe it's really obvious because AI did it because it's kind of clunky maybe. You see it in your online searches on your phone. AI is everywhere that's seen. It's also pretty much everywhere that's unseen. How many of you have ever watched anything such as Netflix? Right. You know all your thumbnails are picked by AI. You know, you could pick, if it's my TV and I pull up Netflix, a thumbnail for a movie XYZ might be different than the thumbnail on yours. AI is unseen, and AI is creepy. If you're on the phone and you're waiting on hold at a call center, that's no longer frequently legitimate music, it's AI. Why is it AI-generated music? No royalty fees. The music you're listening to was made by a computer right before that. That's creepy a little bit, isn't it? That's a little bit creepy. AI is everywhere. You know what's not everywhere? Wisdom. Wisdom is not everywhere. A bunch of information was fed into AI to figure out an ideal workout plan, so that way you can get buff and six-pack abs. And what was created? Hey, a one-armed push-up while balancing a medicine ball on your head. Knowledge and information is everywhere. AI is everywhere. Wisdom is not. And AI was fed tons of food combinations. And it suggested a seafood and fruit pizza with tuna, shrimp, and strawberries. I don't know if it's red sauce or Alfredo sauce, but I don't know that it matters, right? Right. So today we start a series called Ancient Intelligence. And what a message series is basically, I was trying to think how to explain this, it's basically one meal. The whole series is one meal, served in courses by a chef who's giving you his twist on what other chefs have put together. So if you hear anything intelligent in this entire series, you can think that either AI came up with it or I stole it from somebody else. Because I have no interest in being original. I want to be effective. I think what we've got to look at from His Word is going to be crazy effective. I'm not seeing anything in Scripture that tells me when I come before Him, He's going to award me for originality. It's fruitfulness, effectiveness. So if you're a seeker, a starter, or a returner, the first part of a series is a great day to be here. If you believe but wonder, or you wonder why in the world anyone would believe, or if you wonder if you can believe again, yeah. Because no matter where we've been, no matter what you've done, wisdom can rewrite the rest of your story. The rest of your story is not written in stone. You get to choose a lot of it. We can become wise. We can't become wise quickly. That great prophet Phil Collins said, you can't hurry love, right? You can't hurry wisdom, but you can be wise. You totally can be wise. And when we consider the book of Proverbs, it's one of the most culturally embedded pieces of literature across the globe, where its truths have kind of woven its way into the fabric. The fancy word is lexicon for how things get into our grammar. If you're skeptical of faith, Proverbs speaks to the realities of life and choices and consequences, whether you're a person of faith or not. If you've heard this statement, or actually finish this statement for me, if it's common enough for you. Pride goes before a fall. That's Proverbs. Pride goes before destruction. A haughty spirit, a prideful spirit before a fall. Iron sharpens. That's Proverbs. That's not just your coach saying something during two-a-days. As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. A fool and his money are soon parted. That's Proverbs. In the house of the wise are stores of choice food and oil, but a foolish man devours all he has. So Proverbs is in the Old Testament. It's next to Psalms. It's broken down. When you look at all the Scripture, think of the Bible as a library. And you've got different kinds of books. You've got things that are letters. You've got the Gospels, which are historical narrative. You've got some more letters. You've got prophets and prophets. You've got some history. You've got some law books. Then you have these poetry books. Job, Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, and Song of Solomon. And that's where Proverbs fits in. The best breakdown I've seen on Proverbs to give you the entire rundown of the whole book in 60 seconds comes from the Bible Project, so I just stole their graphic. The first part of Proverbs, chapters 1 through 9. It's 10 speeches. It talks about some generic things about wisdom, some generalities, 10 speeches from a father to a son, and then 4 poems about Lady Wisdom. Most of Proverbs is written as a father teaching his son, but women are referred to as the owner of wisdom, as Lady Wisdom, and ladies are also supposed to be able to train their children in wisdom. That's the first 9 chapters. Then you have what we think of when we think of the whole book of Proverbs. Short, pithy sayings. Short sayings. That's chapters 10 through 29. There's a bunch of them. And then it ends with 2 different kinds of chapters written by other authors, not Solomon. And that's the lowdown on how things are laid out in the book of Proverbs. And when we look at it, we think about this center section here of Proverbs. What do we do with those? What exactly are they? When I led a grow group about how to read the Bible, we've got to remember that the Bible was not written to us. This was written for a father to train his son, but it is written for us. So what kind of literature are we reading? We're not reading something that is like the Gospels when we're looking at Proverbs. We're not reading something that is like history, and we're not reading someone who wrote a letter. We're reading something that's supposed to be able to train us in wisdom. So when we think about Proverbs, and I really encourage you at the beginning of a series to jot down the notes this morning, even if the note card seems a little smaller, we measured it, it's the same size. Proverbs are probabilities, not promises. Not promises. The Proverbs are observations. They're not formulas, they're not promises, they're not commands. And Proverbs are not a single thought, but they're a collection of thoughts, chapters 10 through 29. And they only reveal their worth when you actually take time to dwell on them. The Proverbs focus on generalities, not exceptions. You can come up with some really hard, fast rules, but life is too complex for hard, fast rules and formulas, because there are absolutely exceptions. Generally, if you fear God and act wisely, life is probably going to go pretty well for you. But you can fear God and act wisely and have horrible things happen. Generally, if you don't fear God and you're a fool, life will probably go poorly for you. But we all know some people who are fools, and we're wondering why they have their life and we don't. Proverbs chapter 10, verse 27. It's a probability, not a promise. The fear of the Lord adds length to life, but the years of the wicked are cut short. Yet there's godly people who were taken down by a drunk driver in their 20s, and there's absolute idiots and morons that made it to 90, and we wonder why God allowed it. Proverbs are probabilities, not promises. Proverbs 22, verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not turn from it. Some of you are going to get set free here, I hope. Some of you are going to get mad, so we'll do both. Proverbs are probabilities, not promises. Pastor, I'm believing that's just a promise from God. What are you going to tell the person who raised their kid just as holy as you did, who OD'd at 22? What are you going to tell them? What are you going to tell them, the one that finally just said, no, I'm giving my life to Satan and drugs. I'm not going to turn to God, and they died, and you've attended their funeral. It's a probability. It's wisdom. It's not a fact. It's wisdom. An apple a day will keep the... Ed, is that right? If I have an apple, I never have to pay to see you? Absolutely, he says. Absolutely. And keep in mind what we're reading. It's what part of literature is this in the scripture? It's poetry. We don't see it as poetry because it's been translated to English, but the words are specifically chosen so they make sense as poetry. It instills wisdom as we wrestle with it. It's not just, hey, here's some simple steps to a happy life. Do this, do these 5 things, and life will go well. Because if it's just commands, just rules, just promises, it's loaded with contradictions. And let's go to the plain, basic, obvious contradiction in the book of Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 26. Do not answer a fool according to his folly, or you will be like him yourself. Pretty obvious. Verse 5. Answer a fool according to his folly, or he will be wise in his own eyes. You know, if we read this like a Western-educated person, we think, oh, that's a contradiction. Those both can't be right. And they both can't be right if it's a formula or a promise or a command. They absolutely contradict each other. But if you see them as probabilities and observations, you realize that sometimes we need to confront the fool. Sometimes you need to kick the troll. And most of the time we probably shouldn't. And a wise person knows when, why, and how. Street smart, not book smart. Proverbs isn't trying to get us book smart. You can go ahead and get book smart, nothing wrong with that. But these are life hacks. Proverbs is like hard candy. Everybody say that, hard candy. Hard candy. If you bite down on it, you don't get much out of it. And you might break a tooth by doing so. And then you get to go see the dentist, right? But if you savor it, if you take your time, if you meditate on it, something else can come from it. And Proverbs is a journey towards wisdom, a journey towards wisdom. So a proverb is like hard candy. It helps us be street smart, not book smart. So we need to see them as probabilities, observations, and then there won't be as many contradictions. So since a proverb is like hard candy, and since we're going to go ahead and use that analogy the entire series, we're going to hand out some hard candy. Here's the choices that you have. You have, go right ahead, pass them out, one per person. You can choose the coffee hard candy or the orange and cream savers. And the balcony is very full. I apologize to the people sitting in the middle of the balcony right now. If you don't get any candy because someone took it before you, God must not love you that much. Or it's probably the people on the side took too many. Watch out for the teens up there. Big time. Please only take one. There'll be more candy next week. So as we look through the scripture, and yes, you can open them up. If you leave them all over the place, Patricia Strickler is going to come at you with a big stick because she picks all that mess up. Do not put them in the pockets. Don't put them in the pockets. It's a proverb. Don't put them in the pockets. It's a proverb. Okay, let's keep going through the message here. Proverbs have some markers. One, they have parallelism. Parallelism. Two phrases, right? And they mutually clarify each other. And when the phrase by themselves are good, but when you put them together, it makes more sense. Proverbs 13:6. Righteousness guards the man of integrity. Okay? Integrity. Integrity is the right thing to do. Integrity protects me. Righteousness is good. But wickedness overthrows the sinner. The first clause up here, what is wickedness? Well, wickedness is being a drug dealer or a terrorist. Yeah, sure. Please don't ask God to help you be a better terrorist. But that's not what it's meaning here. These two are combined. Righteousness guards the man of integrity, but wickedness, what's wickedness being compared to here? A lack of integrity. But having a lack of integrity will overthrow you. Parallelism. Remember what we're reading here is poetic on purpose. And that's the next part. Proverbs have parallelism, Proverbs have poetry. Poetry. And I want to read you some poetry here. Because I know you love poetry. But what does poetry have? It has meter, it has rhyme, it has phrasing, it has imagery. Poetry is hopefully memorable, portable, and hopefully emotional. So finish this poetry with me if you can. You call me up again just to break me like a promise. So casually cruel in the name of being honest. No Taylor Swift fans in the room? But you didn't say anything. You did that. Let's try another one. And in the end, the love you take is equal to, I hear a little bit of mumbling up there, the love you make. George, Paul, Ringo, and John. And when you smile, the world stops and stares for a while. That great theologian, Bruno Mars. It's something unpredictable, but in the end, it's right. I hope you had 90s children spoke up. There you go. A prominent feature of poetry is vivid imagery. This that I'm trying to tell you about, it's like this. I mean, the Revelation is filled with that because John doesn't have the words to express what he's seeing. But this important thing, it's like that. It's like a gold ring in a pig's snout. And keep in mind, these are Jews writing this. Taking one of those valuable things and sticking it in something so filthy and dirty is like a beautiful woman who shows no discretion. Nothing wrong with being beautiful. But showing discretion is much wiser and more beautiful than being beautiful. As vinegar to the teeth and smoke to the eyes, no one really likes drinking vinegar. Ugh. And all the smoke gets in your eyes. What is like vinegar to the teeth? What is like getting smoke in your eyes? So is a sluggard to those who send him. A sluggard is a lazy person. If you have something important you need done, and you send a lazy person to go do it, it's like having vinegar in your teeth or smoke in your eyes. Lastly, Proverbs, in this part, have parallelism, they have poetry, and they're a puzzle. No one saying is going to give you the whole picture. It's not trying to. Only together, when you put all of them together, you're going to get a good, nuanced view and a multifaceted view of reality. Here's an example, 29:19. A servant cannot be corrected by mere words. Though he understands, he will not respond. In our culture, we could think of the word of employee. But then the proverb says, a wise servant will rule over a disgraceful son and will share the inheritance as one of the brothers. Well, which is it? It's both. But 17:2 helps us understand 29:19 isn't talking about every single employee and servant in the world. It's just talking about those who have a rotten attitude. Some of them you can talk to, you're blue in the face, and they're not going to get it. Others of them, you're going to wish you could adopt them and rent your son out to somebody else because that servant's going to be so good, so amazing. But the goal is not to get knowledge. It's wisdom. And AI might be everywhere. And it was pointed out to us today. Even the logo, which imagine that AI made it. How many already noticed something wrong with the logo? Yep. Thanks for the spell check. AI spelled intelligence wrong. It's 2 L's. Yep. AI may be everywhere, but so are choices. There's so many choices to make. So many. And a large percentage of them have no moral guidelines and no Bible verse. I call them should-I's. Should I marry her or stay single? Should I take job A or job B? Should I go career A or career B? Should I purchase a home or should I rent? Or should I connect to this church or should I connect to that church? Should I speak up or should I keep silent? Should I intervene or should I ignore? Should I act or should I wait? Should I stay or should I go? But if I go, there will be trouble. And if I don't, it might be double. All right, children of the 80s, here we go. None of those choices have anything to do with right or wrong. Have you ever made a choice you wish you could unchoose? But you can't unchoose. You can't choose to quit. You can choose to divorce. You can choose to change. But you cannot unbuy a house. You cannot unmarry. You cannot undate that guy for 3 years. And you cannot unwork for 5 years at a job that you had that you wish you hadn't put 5 years in. Whether you believe in God or not, we've all paid the price for foolish choices We can't unchoose, but we can move forward choosing wisely. But for that, we need wisdom. We don't need knowledge. We don't need knowledge. We have all the knowledge we would ever possibly need access to at our fingertips crazily. We need wisdom. So in your notes, we're going to work our way to a definition of wisdom. We'll invert the notes a little bit. You'll have to be really sharp and wise to pay attention to them. First, wisdom is beyond knowledge. Proverbs chapter 1, verse 1. The Proverbs of Solomon. He didn't write all of them, but they're attributed to him, kind of like Pharaoh built the pyramids. I don't think Pharaoh actually lifted a stone. But the Proverbs of Solomon, son of David, king of Israel, what are they for? They're for attaining wisdom and discipline. It's going to be really hard to be wise and not be disciplined. Therefore, what else are they for? They're for understanding words of insight. Now, knowledge is assumed. It's assumed. You can't be wise without knowledge. But you can have knowledge and not be wise. Heart doctors smoke cigarettes. You can have knowledge and not be wise. Economic teachers file bankruptcy. Wisdom doesn't just fill our head. It reshapes our heart, reshapes our relationships, which reshape our future. Wisdom has insight. Insight. You can see what's easily missed. I cannot sit still in front of the TV very well. There's very few shows that I've ever actually watched and binged, but one that I could do probably again is a show called Psych. Any Psych fans in the room? Okay, Psych. So, Psych notices. If there are two things that are obviously noticeable, that's not insight. Hey, I could do A or I could do B. What option should I choose? Well, a knowledgeable person is going to be able to find A or B. Somebody with insight is going to find 8 other options out of insight, not just out of knowledge. Facts are facts. But when you connect the facts and you come up with new things that are there, or you can imagine and you can notice what wasn't there. You thought you had 2 options, and you look a little closer with wisdom, you see 8 options. Therefore, wisdom is beyond knowledge. Next, wisdom is beyond morality. It's beyond right and wrong. Verse 3. What are these Proverbs for? For acquiring a disciplined and a prudent life, doing what is right and just and fair. Being moral assumes we're already good. Being moral assumes we're already doing what's right, not doing what's wrong. But you can be very moral and very much a fool. I'm going to say that again because it needs to be clearly understood what wisdom is. You can be very moral and never steal a thing. You don't even say dang and shoot. You are so moral. But you can be a fool with the realities of life. You never do wrong, but you're a fool with your time. You're a fool with your resources. Hey, can you help me get some food? I give my rent money to some guy on the street. You can never do wrong, but be a fool. You can also do wrong all the time and be wise in how you handle money, or wise in how you handle relationships. The key word there is prudent. Prudent, strategic, practical. Wisdom beyond just right and wrong. If all Proverbs was just a rule about morals, we wouldn't have 20 chapters. We'd have 3,100 chapters. For every possible situation that comes up in life. What's the right thing to do in 80% of life where there's no Bible verse and there's no guideline for it? When I went over my notes this morning and I was praying them, I thought this was the best spot in the entire notes. There's no explicit moral laws against character flaws. I know, that should have been a fill in the blank. I just realized it rhymed. There are no explicit moral laws against character flaws. Abrasiveness, impulsiveness, emotional fragility, and disorganization can damage the course of your life. They can destroy your life. Abrasiveness, impulsiveness, emotional fragility, and disorganization. They can destroy the course of your life. Whether you always do what's right and you never say bad words, you don't drink, you don't chew, you don't go out with girls who do. It's way beyond morality. Following Jesus is way beyond that. And lastly, wisdom is beyond experience. Fools have experience. Fools see what you see. Fools hear what you hear. But they don't respond the same as a wise person does. Proverbs 17:24. A discerning man keeps wisdom in view, but a fool's eyes wander the ends of the earth. The fool sees. Do not speak to a fool, for he will scorn the wisdom of your words. The fool hears. And I think the most clear one, and I actually love the imagery because it's memorable, it's portable, and it's emotional. As a dog returns to its vomit, so a fool repeats his folly. Folly is just talking about foolish attitudes. It's kind of like removing removing Tinder from your phone and then putting it back on, right? As a dog returns to its vomit, so a fool repeats his folly. So what is wisdom? When we consider everything that we've looked at today, the best definition I came up with as I was looking through everything that I studied, and my goodness, man, I started with a stack of notes like that. Wisdom is rightly relating to reality. And that's what we'll use for a working definition for this series. It's rightly relating to reality. Not rightly relating to moral laws or what we want to do or what's culturally relevant right now. No, reality. The whole purpose of the book of Proverbs is a journey towards wisdom, to be rightly related to what's going on through hard thinking and reflection, through meditating and slowly processing what's in there, kind of like those of you who still have the candy in your mouth and you haven't swallowed it all already. I would have had it gone. I would have said, there's something in my mouth. I should chew it. All those should I situations, should I have my kid in every single sport possible even though it costs us having any connection to a local church? Oh, did I just say that? Should I go ahead and buy this house even though it means I won't be able to tithe anymore? Should I marry her? She says she believes in God. I came across this other definition I thought was really good. It's just not tightly worded to keep you reusing it. But I love how it's phrased. To know what is wisdom? To know the right thing to do. And the commitment to do the right thing in the right way. To know the right thing to do, the true. The commitment to do the right thing, that's the good. And to do it in the right way, that's beautiful. It's the true, the good, and the beautiful. It's wisdom. In this series, we'll look at the fear of the Lord. It's probably next week's message. When I prepare a series, I pretty much work on every message at once. What does it actually mean to fear the Lord? Proverbs has a lot to say about wisdom, but it has a lot to say about fools. We'll talk about all the different kinds of fools in Proverbs. Some of you are going, yeah, that's no problem, I'm not a fool. That's one of the kinds of fools. We'll talk about the principle of the path. Can I remind you, no matter where we've been, wisdom can rewrite the rest of our story. We can become wise, but we just can't get there in a hurry. But looking at Proverbs, if you don't look at it, remember I showed you the picture of the Bible as a library earlier? If we don't look at Proverbs as being part of the entire book, we're going to miss its context. Its context only makes sense and is the fullest and richest in the view of Jesus. It's the fear of the Lord. That's the beginning of knowledge or the beginning of wisdom. Here's our parallelism again. One statement and then the second, but fools despise wisdom and discipline. You want to be wise? It's fearing the Lord. It's fearing the Lord. Jesus dazzled his listeners with wisdom, Luke 2, Mark 6. Jesus claimed to be the new Solomon, Luke 11. He's the personified wisdom in Proverbs 8 and the one that God created the world with in John chapter 1. Jesus is the wisdom of God in 1 Corinthians 1. He's the one in whom all of God's wisdom is hidden in Colossians chapter 2. So 2 key verses in this entire series. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. And then Proverbs chapter 4, verse 7 and 8. You've been pretty quiet so far, maybe probably because you're sucking on candy. But if you can, stick it on one side of your mouth for a second and read this out loud with me. Remember, this has got rhyming and meter. So we'll read it like that. Are we ready? Here we go. Wisdom is supreme. Therefore, get wisdom. Though it costs all you have, get understanding. Esteem her, and she will exalt you. Embrace her, and she will honor you. What's the she and the her? Wisdom is. Whatever it costs me, it's more costly not to have it. If wisdom is going to cost you 6 months, it'll cost you 6 years not to have it. If wisdom is going to cost you a year's worth of income, it'll cost you 10 years of income not to have wisdom. It's called bankruptcy. We were talking some poetry and lyrics earlier. Stand with me, would you?